back here, I actually just stopped and reran the program. We saw that when we were running this program, the pop-up window, which we just designed with Gemini, isn't popping up, right? So this isn't showing. Okay, so we're gonna try a couple of things. So I'm gonna try again doing it one more time. So let's do it one more time. Remember that we already commented out the usual, what usually would show, which is the sign up successfully pop-up message, right? And we're trying to customize our own pop-up window, which is what makes this whole thing, this whole Code Hills app very unique and handmade. It's because we are customizing it with human touch, not designing and developing it with AI. AI is there to refine it when you have the structure done, when you've done the human touch structure. That's what we're trying to teach you. How to understand the structure, the basis, the foundation, the skeleton before you start adding the flesh here and there, right? You start refining and molding once you're done. Now, not just using AI to generate this. You have to understand what you're building. You have to understand the blocks. Okay, so once we get to this stage, I'm gonna just log in again or sign up, sorry. And then I'll put in a password. So let's use this password, Bashar. Oh, my bad. Bashar Happy. I'm just putting a random password. And so once we click on done and everything, nothing is popping up, right? We do have our Imigongo showing up, but we don't really see anything else popping up. And then this pops up too. This is something I'm also going to comment out. So that means the pop-up isn't showing. This isn't showing. So let's fix some things. Now, stop this whole thing. It is actually hashing properly, which is no problem at all. We've already tried that, but the pop-up isn't showing. So what we need to do is go back into your code block, and there are a couple of things that we need to do. First of all, go to the part where you have your pop-up created, right? And pay attention to where you've got this part that you said, after you said add pop-up, you've basically done that part, right? And you said set the bounds, add it to the panel, update the hash, and show the Imigongo. Right. So we still need to do one thing here. We're going to revalidate showing the pop-up. So we're going to make the compiler understand that the pop-up message window has to go on the main panel. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go by saying the main panel dot set components. And so set component means like where do you like you command the compiler what you want to show where. So do you want to show the image on top or behind? So we call it the Z order. Okay, so it's Z order, and then you decide where you want it to be. So if you say 0, it means you want it to be on top, right, to the top of the main panel. So 0 meaning that the top of the main panel, and then 1 meaning you want it to be the second top of the main panel, and so on. Okay, so that's really how those numbers work. As you increase them, you will see the change when you run it. The next thing you want to do is you want to revalidate this command and you want to repaint, just like what we did for the Imigongo, which you can, obviously do when I told you to take it out. So we want to repaint our panel. So we go for revalidate. Okay. And then of course we go for repaint. This should be able to now show this Imigongo pattern that was not showing. So let's try to run it again and see what happens if it's showing now. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Once you make this change, don't forget these little changes here. Then it should be able to show your Imigongo, not your Imigongo, sorry, your pop-up message. I said Imigongo. So let's go back and let's run this code again. So we're gonna run the VNC and then of course come over to the VNC. And now when you try to sign up, so let's try to sign up and go Allison, I guess. And then I'm just gonna go programming fun. Okay, so programming fun is my password, programming fun. Now let's click on done, and boom, it's showing now. It's showing now, and my Imigongo is also showing as well. Okay, So now when I click OK, nothing's happening. And yeah, this again, this one for the natural resources, I'm gonna comment that out. But when I click OK, nothing's happening. And if you go to the console, it is kind of giving me the, the coordinates because it's on the main panel and the main panel is clickable. However, though, let's go back into our program. And what we need to do is we want to be able to, first of all, and by the way, the password hashing is here again, so different hash. And so we want to be able to do something whereby when we click OK, this pop-up should disappear. Okay, so how do we do that? So we need to add a specific mouse listener to this pop-up window. Remember what mouse listeners do? When you click, this goes away. So for you to make that happen, you need a mouse listener. So let's stop this from running. By the way, I'm curious, I just want to try it one more time. Let me just run it again one more time and put another password. I'm gonna put Tiana as the name. Let's go for that, Tiana. And then I'm gonna put to be happy, right? I think that's 8 words, so to be happy. And then I click done. Oh, and there's my Imigongo. Okay, so right. So now let's go fix this. By the way, again, the positioning of this pop-up, you can adjust the positioning by the set bounds. Okay, this X and Y coordinates, you can adjust it to where you want. And the size is perfect because it shows the exact size. That's why I went with the exact dimension. Okay, so now we want to make this such that when I click OK, this disappears and I can click back on anything. First of all, I'm going to go down to that part where we have the natural resources thing where we move our mouse. I'm going to comment it out because I am just going to keep with the screen clicks for now. I just showed you how that works. So let's go back into the part that I'm talking about, which is making that pop-up disappear, right? How do we do that? Well, first of all, go back to the pop-up, right? And I just went down now just because I wanted to like put this part out. Like I told you, I was not gonna have the whole moving my mouse on thing. So I just took that out. So I'm going back to the done part, the done button again, going back to the pop-up, just trace your code back to this if pop-up is displayed. And so what we want to do is we want to add a mouse listener. So where would be the best place? Well, you could add it right after you've positioned where it actually needs to show, right here. And so you would do this pop-up. You can add mouse listeners to anything that you want to make clickable that you add onto the screen, by the way. So pop-up one, okay, dot add. And then you'd be like, add what? Add mouse listener. Okay. And then you go new mouse adapter. And then you open curly brace and hit enter. Okay. And so you add the mouse clicked also, and then you open because you're using the click function, except you want to use something else. But this is what we're using. So obviously now we need to do the whole, so public mouse clicked illegal start. Let's see what we're missing here. So mouse adapter, new mouse adapter, add mouse listener, public void, mouse clicked, mouse E, right? Oh, right. We need to do one more thing, which is very important, and that's to add a curly brace and add a parenthesis and then semi-close that. Okay, so that's one thing you're missing, which is very important. Actually, give me a moment. So I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anything. So we've got public, pop-up, add mouse listener, and then we've got new mouse adapter, and then we've got public mouse. Let me just do that step by step. Give me a moment. So this is going to open to the final one that we're doing, which let's just do that here. And then let's close that with a semicolon. Okay, just do it step by step. And then we do this and we open this and then we like do that. Okay, we're getting a slight error. Let me see where the error is coming from. So pop up. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure it out. Where is it coming from? So here we've got pop-up.add mouse listener. And then we've got new mouse adapter. And then we've got public. I'm going to take this out, by the way. And then we've got public void mouse click. That's what we want to call this. And we're giving it a mouse event. And then we're going to have one that's here. And then we're going to have one that's closing. And we probably need to have one that's also here. However, we don't have like an if statement. So let me just try something. If, and then we be like, huh, let's see. We have a little slight problem. So let me take this back out of here. Okay. And let's see what's going on. So we've got, let's go back again. So we've called this one pop-up one dot add mouse. Just do it gently, guys, mouse listener, and then you just go gently with that. And then we said we want to create a mouse listener, which is a new, oh, I think I know what went wrong. I think I see what went wrong. Mouse adapter. And then we can go for, I think we have imported mouse adapter. I'm pretty sure we did that importing. Yeah, we've used it before, so we have imported it. I just wanted to double check because it says that it's not recognizable, but we have imported it that. So let's go for this one, and then let's go for that. Okay, so it's pretty strange that it's saying that it's abstract and can't be instantiated. Well, let's see what's going on. Oh, first of all, let's take out. There it is. Perfect. I think we just fixed it, guys. So you just got to be careful. So it's add mouse listener, mouse adapter, open curly brace, and then you've got this mouse clicked, and then you've got this one. And then you've got one more that you kind of need to put in here like this and semicolon, and you're done. Okay? So just be careful. Just make sure you do it step by step. We just missed something. I think it was the parentheses or something, or the parentheses. So when you do that carefully, you do the same thing you've done. Get your x coordinates, which you need to get when they click on something, right? So you use the object that you created for your mouse event, which means when they click on something. So you're going to get your x, and then you're going to get the same thing for y. And then it's good to, obviously, you need to print this x and y, right? Because you need to see what the coordinates are so you can determine the if statement. So at this point, you really just need to go back and run the program so you can get your coordinates, and then you can put that if x greater than, less than, and then determine to hide it. So let's go back into this and let's stop our run and then go run it again. And then come back here and go into the part of clicking on the OK section. So right now, I'll just go back into Quincy. I'm just going to say Quincy, okay? Happy people. I just wrote the password as happy people. Happy people. Click done, and then of course, oops, there's my pop-up, right? Quincy happy people. If I click, oh, now I need to click the top edges to get it to disappear. So top, bottom, bottom. So 4 times, remember, and you get your coordinates right here. So now looking at all the coordinates on the left, take the smallest and largest. The smallest is 191 and the largest is 342. So go back and then do if x is greater than, I'm just going to change the coordinates, 191, and then it's less than 342. And then y is greater than, what is the other one? 246 and less than 294. So 246 and less than 294. Okay, and then of course, open curly brace, like that. So if that's the case, if this is clicked, then now you can do the whole, first of all, we want to keep the sign up still active. So let's say is on sign up is true, so we can still keep things clickable. Then of course we want to hide this pop-up. So we're going to use the same main panel because the pop-up is on the main panel. We're going to remove the pop-up from the main panel by saying remove. And then we're going to revalidate the screen and repaint it again. So main panel dot revalidate, and then of course we go back to main panel dot repaint. Okay, so main panel dot repaint. That's it. That's all. So once this is done, means that you're gonna hide your pop-up. This really is what makes you hide the pop-up. So let's try it now and stop your code again and clear your past runs and run again. Come over to your VNC and go over to here, and then just try doing it this time. So I'm gonna say yellow car. Okay, and I'm gonna go for, I'll go for Angela. Oh, I wanted to write Angela here. Angela, and I'll go for yellow car. Okay, yellow car. Click done. Boom, there it is. So now when I click OK, I've got my pop-up disappear. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And you can still click on this and it still works. So let's go back and try a couple more passwords. Like a couple more entries is what I mean. If I try to do that Angela yellow car, I just want you to see that it's still working to make sure that I don't have duplicate passwords. So yellow car, and then yellow car. And so I click on done and it says duplicate password, so I can't, right? So that still works. And then let's go for Peter. And then we'll go for Peter Pan. And then we'll go for Peter Pan. And then I got this one. And then let's try a couple more. And then I'll go for lolly. And then I'll go for lollipop. I just want to show you though, right? So lollipop, although I think I might need to rerun this. Lollipop. And then I'll click done. Oh, I need to make my passwords. They're not 8. So let's stop it and rerun it again. So I'm going to stop. It didn't save it. So you can see it didn't save that. So let's run it one more time again. And I'm putting in the lollipop. So let's go lollipop. And then I'll go for lollipop. I just added lollipop there. Lollipop And so I click on done and then I get my design. And then I'm going to try a couple more. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. I just want to keep trying. But like I said, at this point, it's pretty okay. I'm just going to do one more time and that's all. I'm going to go Andrea. Or maybe I should go for something completely. I just go like Rachel and then Rachel Park and then Rachel Park. Okay. Then I'll click done and ooh, there it is. Okay. And now click OK and now it's disappeared. So I think you get the point. So anyways, keep trying until you do a couple tries, make sure everything works perfectly. And if you come back, oh, it's disappeared. But if you click the about us, it still works. Okay, now let's move on to the last part so we can wrap up this lesson series. The next part is how do we do such that you can have a different Imigongo pattern, right? So I did tell you I was going to release this prompt. Basically, just go any online, look for any Imigongo pattern you like, and take a screenshot and basically just come and prompt it, upload your pattern, and then just ask Gemini or Claude to give you a code that resembles the one that we've done. So this is the code that we've written in our code. You just copy it, like I'm saying, all the way from here to here. It's the exact same code that we've written for generating our Imigongo pattern. So you just put the prompt in. So I'll just do an example and show you. So you put the prompt in, because this one, for example, is for this Imigongo pattern, because I've got another one and I'm going to show you right now. So I've got, no, it's not here, sorry. Right here. So I've got this Imigongo pattern that I want to replicate. So that's why I said if you take a picture online. So if you go and then you go to, I would advise you to go to Claude or Gemini, really, anyone. And you just paste the same prompt that I'm going to give you, you're going to have available, the exact same thing, and you can read the prompt and see what it's saying. And then you go look for an Imigongo pattern online, and you can use it for different parts of your app. Okay, it's not just for sign up. You can use it for many things because that's the whole what this app is based on. It's a Rwandan bespoke app. So you need to put Rwandan bespoke things in it. So features that are natural, that are human touched. So, for example, if you go over to images, I don't know, let's say you want this pattern, or okay, I went to Etsy right now. So let's go back into like, I don't know, let's say this pattern, and I'll take like a little screenshot of this, like that, and I'll upload it to Claude. because that's what I want to have, like a pattern like that. And you see, I uploaded it to Claude, but you can click here and just add files. Claude is Claude.ai. You can sign up for free, by the way. Anybody who has a Gmail can sign up. So that's how you access Claude. You can also use Gemini. Make sure you are on, if you're using Claude, go for Sonnet 5 and go for Effort Low. We're actually going to have a very interesting course and a couple of flagship courses at the under our AI Tech Cognoscentia programs that we will be teaching the use of Claude a lot because Claude is pretty popular too. Now, once you've done that, you send it over to Claude and let Claude work on giving you a code following the same pattern. And once Claude does that, you see what it did. It just make sure you put comments. Ask Claude to insert comments. Be like, insert single line, easy to understand comments in the code blocks or in the program. You can just say in the program above, so I understand what each line does. Okay, so send it over and then wait for Claude. So we've got like the Code Hills app is a very big app, guys, that we have to try as much as possible and to make the structure sound and solid. Then later on, refine it with AI. Now, for those of you, all of you that are on this course, you are expected to insert, like I said, always, insert a copy of, not a copy, sorry, a part of your business that you're going to be doing, which of course you will learn about once we give you the business proposal, where you're going to see it. The business proposal ideas, you will need to insert it here. Once a person logs, we've just done the sign up successfully. You can do the login next easily. So you've clicked login. This should actually redirect you to a login page, right? And you need to do the login because you now know how to sign up. And I told you it's the same thing for login. So you need to design a login page. Again, doing the same thing where they will enter username, password will be hashed. But this time, if it does exist, that's good because it's logging you in. And when you get redirected, you get redirected to a user portal that immediately shows our business, right? And it shows pictures of you with the product doing it at home, you and your group, you know, because you are, sorry, not your group, you yourself, because you're going to be assigned different business proposal ideas that you're going to pick one to do, and you're going to at least receive some funding to do that. And so you need to put that in here and show the evidence and show the business plan that has been generated by this app, which I will explain in the class how you generate the content for these business plans, both in PDF and both in video. You need to showcase that here and even make it creative such that this product that you're developing will have a tag, and the tag will not be a QR code. That's very generic. Everybody uses QR code. The tag will be an Imigongo design that they would need, and it's a unique pattern. Every product that you're producing, right, from the prototype has a unique Imigongo design on the tag. And so you'll be like telling them, okay, I want you to go back to this app, go back to our Code Hills app and check what design pattern your tag matches. And when they come here and they look for the pattern, so once they click check your pattern, when you're showing them about our business, then they look for the pattern, they click on it, they get this hashed again code, which you can do with the hashing that you just learned with the SHA256. And then once they enter that code, it should display a catalog of that product, the traceability to the product, the information, and something else creative. You got to be creative in that way. You got to be creative in that way. So I want to see what you're going to do in terms of that. Of course, I'll try my best to explain it as much as I can with the time we have, but this is, I think, the most clarified way to explain it. So going back into Claude, Claude has given lines of comments, as you can see. So this way you understand, and these lines are pretty much the same thing we have. So, but you can understand what's going on, so you know what the codes are doing. You're not just copy pasting codes, right? So now you're going to copy this, and that's why we say AI generation of code. You will never learn if you follow that. You have to know the structure. You have to put the human touch to it. Everything you do needs to be a human touch. People do not want something completely machine generated, which is not authentic. They need human touch. And then you can refine with the AI, but you have the structure in the first place. Now, let's get back to this. Now, when you copy that, right? I just copied it, by the way. I don't know if you saw it. I copied the whole code. You just copy the code that Claude gives you for your Imigongo pattern. You go back to your code blocks, and then you go back to where we have our own Imigongo pattern all the way. If you don't know where it starts and ends, just click the opening curly brace, and then when you see it end, copy all the way from that to that, delete it, and paste exactly the code that you're getting with Claude. Make sure you paste the one with comments so I see that you actually read this. So when you do that, you can now go back into your prompt, like go back into your code, try it again, see if it's generating for you this pattern that you chose. And the pattern that we just chose wasn't this one, by the way. It was the one that we just took a screenshot of right now. It's this pattern. This is the pattern. So this is what we want to be as the Imigongo batch. So now when you come over to the run code thingy and you come over to your, oh my gosh, I closed my VNC. Let's go over to VNC again. I just opened it one more time and you try to sign up again. So let's see if it works now. So I'm going to do Hercules. I'm just signing up randomly. Hercules, happy. Okay, so Hercules, happy. So when you click done, okay, you see that it makes, well, it kind of made the pattern in one way. It's not exactly, but that's really what Claude gives you. You can try Gemini too, just to see which one gives you the exact same pattern. And again, when you click OK, it disappears. So you can try running it again one more time, Hercules happy, just to see the difference. So I'm gonna go for running it one more time. So it did make a pattern as you see it, but that's the pattern it gave you. So you can try Gemini's too. So I'm gonna do Pamela, Pamela, fun. Okay, Pamela fun. That's my password, Pamela fun. Ooh, I need to fix that. Pamela fun. And then when I click done, I'm getting my pattern again, same pattern. And of course, one thing I did say that, by the way, if you're still getting like set color to white, you got to go to the colors rendering. And if you want to like change the color, you can ask Claude to make it such that you have different colors with this pattern. So you can go back and say, make this pattern, make the code blocks, right, above, display a pattern with different display and the Imigongo pattern with different or with random colors from a list of, you can say, list of infinite colors if you want, or a list of so many colors, right? You could do that and you can send it over to Claude. And Claude will just make modification because right now we just have the set color to white. Okay, you got to be paying attention. That's why I said understand the code blocks. It's only setting it to white at the moment. So if you want different colors, then Claude can make that change for you. So you can ask Claude what change was made. Don't forget to do that. And it's just made you a colors list. So you got like different colors. And then you can just come back and copy this again and then go back to your code again. And you can even put your colors yourselves. Just be careful where you delete, right? So you don't delete anything else in your code. So you delete that and then you come back and paste this new one from Claude. And it's giving you the colors right here. If it's giving you an error with the random, just go back to Claude and tell Claude you're getting an error because normally, that's why I said you should know what's happening. If you get any red line, just say, Claude, I'm getting a red line on this line. But usually if you're having the random error, just go up and import it. That's really what is missing, the import random. So it randomly selects a color. And then you can come back over to console and try now with this new code blocks that you got for your Imigongo pattern and see if it's now giving you the color patterns that you said you wanted. So I'm going to say spicy ramen. Okay, so let's say spicy ramen. Wait, spicy ramen. Oh no, I kind of clicked that too many times. Spicy ramen. Okay, and then I'll go for spicy ramen. And then I'll click on done. and it's popping up. Oops, look at that. It's giving me random colors. Like it's changing the colors because you said random. But you can also go back to Claude and say that, well, I want a steady color. So, like I said, you can make the changes depending on what you want. You can go back to the Claude and say, well, I want you to refine this code such that it will only give me a different. So, just come back here and make a refinement to your prompt and say, make the code blocks appear above, make the code blocks above, right? What we said to display the Imigongo pattern, to display an Imigongo pattern with a with a unique color, okay? You got to just know how to prompt it with a unique color whenever um, a user is successfully signed up on an app, such that you can add more details, such that there will be, there will never be the same Imigongo pattern. There will never be the same color, the same Imigongo pattern with the same color displayed, the same color displayed. So um, like that. So you can refine your prompt, of course, to make it make sense, so it knows not, it doesn't do the rainbow thing like it was doing. And then you save it again and send it to Claude, and really that's how you keep trying to modify it. So here it says here's an updated version. So yeah, you've got an updated version. So it picks a random background color to the seed. It's basically changing colors according to the background, and also color according to the patterns, like to the lines that you saw. So really it makes these modifications, and you just got to keep trying and copying the block, really. Okay, so you just got to copy the block. Make sure, tell it to not give me, just say only give me the, also go back and make the change so it doesn't give you anything. Only give me the paint component method, nothing else. The paint component method to do this, and do not add anything extra. Okay, this is really important because it will give you some extra code and you get confused. So just give me the paint component, like what it's doing now, and nothing extra. That's pretty much it. And that's it really. So here it will basically, so every sign up gets a unique repeatable pattern. So what it's doing is, and then it gets like it generates a unique color. So yeah, you just have to copy this code block and try it again. And again, if it doesn't match, you can go look for another Imigongo design if you're still not happy with it, and just try until you get the one you want. So you just delete this one, and then you bring back the one you want. So I'm still gonna bring back ours because yeah. So like I've put this new one from Claude, and let's try it one more time just to see what this one's doing, and then we're gonna have to wrap up here. So we'll go back and we'll run it again. And oh, let me go back to my VNC. So I'll do here, let's go for Jacob. And then I'll go for Sally Prince, right? Sally Prince. And then I'll go for done. And look at that, it's giving you a different pattern. Okay, that's a promising one. Even though it's not exactly like the pattern that you had, but yeah, it's giving you that. And then you can go for stop it and run it again. So because you said a different Imigongo pattern, that could be the reason why, because I would have said giving me the same Imigongo pattern but with a different color. So that's why I told you it's the way you word it that is really important, the way you do the prompting. So I'm going to do another prompt over here. I'm going to do Felix, and I'll be like, happy Felix. And then I'll be like, happy Felix. And then I'll be like, done. Look at that. It's giving you different patterns now. So if you like this way, you can stick with it. If you still want your own Imigongo pattern, you can still have it. Just reprompt Claude properly. So not to say, because I said there will never be the same Imigongo pattern. That's why it's giving me the change. So really, that's the end. Again, like I said, I wish this all brings clarity. Remember to work on your login because you have your sign up pretty clear, so you can do the login just following the same way you did the sign up. But the only difference is now when there's a duplicate password, it's good because it's logging in. You do want the password to exist, but if it's if it's not there, then they need to sign up. So you need to be smart to do that. I want to see how intuitive you're going to do that. And we're going to be ending it here. We will continue in the class, of course, live class. We have two more live classes and we'll continue from where we stopped. So happy coding as always. And of course, see you in the lesson.